Chances are that you've heard of the CPBL, but what about the Boulevard Baseball League? Founded in 2011, this baseball league is made up of older adults from all walks of life, with the oldest aged 91. You might be wondering, how did this league come about? And is baseball safe to play in old age? The high-intensity sport comes with no small share of scrapes, bumps, and challenges. Tonight, in our Sunday Special Report, we meet the seniors who are tackling these hurdles for the love of the game.
每天大概都4点5点就起床，6点多就倒菜来。
76-year-old Wei Kunhua lives in Suao Township, Yilan. As a young man, he worked in construction. In retirement, he's turned to farming to pass the time. It's been a hard several years. After being stricken by a stroke, he developed diabetes and underwent cataract surgery. With his body failing him more each day, his thoughts occasionally turn to his stronger, youthful self.
高中的照片，参加学校的校队，棒球训练。
When he was young, Wei played shortstop on a baseball team. His time on the field is a treasured memory from his high school years. Way over on the other side of town, 66-year-old retiree Linguo Jun also tends to his own vegetable garden. Upon reaching his golden years, Lin couldn't help but feel that something was missing.
It's because when you're retired, you don't have to work. It's all very relaxing. But after a week of that, you think, I've got nothing to do. I don't know what to do. How could you not be depressed?
Besides feeling unmoored in retirement, Lin also had to contend with his high blood pressure and the mountain of pills his condition required. His only real interest was watching baseball on TV.
以前喜欢看棒球比赛，没有机会玩棒球。
I liked watching baseball games. I never really had the chance to play. When I was young, everybody was crazy for the Little League. I remember how one year Xu Jingmu was playing at Williamsport. I watched that late into the night.
When he speaks of baseball, Lin's eyes light up. But just after his retirement, it never occurred to him to start playing again in his old age. According to statistics from a social welfare organization, most retirees who engage in sports or activities outside the home are women. Only 10 to 20% of engaged retirees are men. When life loses momentum and diseases come knocking, older adults who don't exercise find themselves increasingly prone to depression.
Among older adults we encounter in our frontline services, a conservative estimate is that 10% to 20% of them have tendencies toward depression. But if we look at latent cases, I'd say the rate is higher, as high as 40% to 50%.
To get these older adults moving, the welfare group decided to fulfill their baseball dreams. It provided an opportunity for baseball lovers to play the game after spending their youth earning a wage. Hands that used to work in farming, construction, and fishing are able to take up bats and gloves. The players on this field are in the Boulevard Baseball League, which was formed by the Hongdao Senior Citizens Welfare Foundation. The league is made up of older men and women across the nation. Since 2011, it's grown to 16 teams from 7 cities and counties. The league owes its existence to an 81-year-old with dementia named Luo Binggui.
One day he told his social worker that he wanted to play baseball, so we got him a child's toy, a T-ball set for him to try. But later, Grandpa said that's not real baseball. It turned out that when Grandpa Lo was a child in school, he had played on a baseball team. Dementia is like that for older adults. They forget the things closest to them. Rather, it's the things farthest from them, the childhood memories of their youth that are tucked forever in their heart.
In July 2010, his social workers decided to help Grandpa Luo realize this dream. They got together 13 older adults who were also eager to play ball. Grandpa Luo went out on the field in his blue polo, giving the game his all. His joy was so evident and moving, the foundation became determined to bring baseball to more players like him.
我们也想到，就是其实在阿公他们那个年代。
In Grandpa's day, when people were first starting to get TVs, the Taidong red leaves were hugely popular. Lots of older people today remember them. Back in their day, they might have entertained the idea of playing baseball themselves, but perhaps their economic circumstances didn't allow it, or their level of schooling prevented it. So our thinking was we should parlay our project into something bigger.
Unlike the other activities organized by the foundation for the community, its baseball games had more than 60% male participation.
跳土风舞
Men don't like folk dancing. As for Waidangong exercises, that's just a lot of shaking your limbs. It seems pointless. The activities have to be interesting to them. It's not that men don't want to come out.
Once they had decided to participate, there was no stopping them, come rain or shine. On the day of our visit to Sual's Jilin baseball team, a thunderstorm broke out fiercely and suddenly. We assumed the older players would wait it out under shelter, but they dashed out onto the field ready for practice.
要两好球，要三振他哦。跑，找到自己的兴趣。
When you find what you're interested in, life has a goal.
打球以后，
Since playing baseball, I've had much more energy.
Baseball is a high-intensity sport. Young people who play routinely get into bumps and scrapes. It goes without saying that older players do too. And with their deteriorating eyesight and degenerating knees, it's hard not to wonder if baseball is an appropriate sport.
一开始的时候基本动作不好，
At the beginning of this, I wasn't in proper form. I was reacting too slowly. A ground ball smashed into my glasses. It broke the bridge of my nose, which started to bleed.
In the early years of the Boulevard Baseball League, not a few of the players left the field battered and bruised or unable to cope with the demands of the game. Their coaches would admonish them again and again to put safety first.
卖挂啦，一波一波甲做好。
47-year-old Ji Chen is the coach of the Jilin baseball team. He's the fourth one since the founding of the team in 2015. It hasn't been easy to find a good fit.
意见不合的话，
When players have a difference of opinion, they'll just leave the team. Because we're older, if coaches are as strict with us as they are with children, then some of us will push back.
Before taking this post, Hong had coached children. After joining the Boulevard Baseball League, he made many adjustments to the way that he taught to accommodate a team that was older, more set in its ways, and less aware of its physical limitations.
我大概差不多来4年。
I've been here for almost 4 years. Since taking this position, I've mostly used positive reinforcement. After all, these players are about the same age as my own parents. I do think that teaching older adults is harder because you can't reprimand them, and you can't force them to do physical training. We're always telling them, don't be shy. If you're not feeling well, remove yourself from the roster.
Besides finding a good coach for the Jilin baseball team, another challenge was finding a place to train. Before the team had a field of their own, it would gather on the 3rd floor of the local health center, pushing tables to the sidelines to make room for practice.
河滨公园球场也存在的一个管理规则的困境，就是
There were fields at the Riverside Park, but the administrative rules created a problem for us. Because some of the fields were technically softball fields, the government was worried about the prospect of having seniors play baseball on a softball field. For example, could the non-standard field's specifications pose a safety risk? So it was relatively difficult for the Boulevard Baseball League to book a field for a fixed time slot.
Then one day, Coach Hung discovered a deserted softball field next to Sual's Taiwan cement factory. It had been unused for more than a year. Coach Hung proposed that his team move there.
啊，我来看一看说，哇，
I took a look and said, wow, this guardrail is rusty. The original guardrail was very tall, and it was about to fall over. The grass on the infield was also very tall. We couldn't afford the cost of renovating that field. I thought about it and then said, okay, problem, I have a solution. Tomorrow when we all come to practice, I want everybody to bring a pickaxe.
The next day, the team came out in force. Wielding pickaxes, the players attacked the infield, turning sod and pulling weeds. They obtained permission from the government to claim light poles damaged by a typhoon. Then they went to Nanfangao to collect discarded fishing nets, which they used to make reeling and protective netting.
这个就是渔网，这个有1件、2件、3件、4件缝起来再吊上去。
To protect the players, Boulevard Baseball League enlisted the help of scholars and other experts who designed a set of game rules tailored to older players. The distance between bases was shortened from the standard of 27 meters to just 18. Stealing base and sliding into base were strictly prohibited. The league also selected softer baseballs for safer play. Their reflexes are slower, yet they still run hard on the court. Although mistakes and miscatches are commonplace, the players treat every day on the field as a new day. Even as their bodies give in to the inexorable passage of time, they are living each moment to its fullest.